We've all been through a really big trauma in this last year. How do we avoid taking that trauma with us into the future? If you're feeling shell-shocked at the things that happened, if you're feeling anxious about the future, this is for you. Jesus can help us. Our story begins with the disciples cowering inside a locked room. So imagine you're huddled in a room. It's 2 days after Jesus has been killed, and you're terrified, with the doors locked for fear of the Jewish leaders. And on top of this lockdown, your faith is just shattered. I mean, Jesus is dead, so he can't be the chosen one. Everything you believed in has ended, and well, it's ended really badly. How are you going to process all these doubts? And then there's that terrible ache of isolation. One of your best friends has just betrayed Jesus and you. So who can you trust? Even the people you knew the best have let you down. Can you relate to it? Has a year of COVID made you feel a bit like that? I mean, there's that pervasive sense of fear, isn't there, of going out beyond the locked door, of the dangers that a world after COVID might hold. COVID's also made us doubt. I mean, what is God doing in this pandemic? Is he actually there at all? And COVID's made us all really isolated. I mean, it's just harder to trust people when you're used to being on your own, isn't it? It's hard to face rebuilding all those old connections and trusting the world again. What I'm describing here is trauma. It's when we struggle to leave pain behind, and we bring that pain of the past into the present. We assume everything's going to go wrong eventually, and we find ourselves living out that fear and anxiety as if we're still in the middle of it. So what's at stake here is how we continue to live our lives. Are we going to stay in that locked room forever? Or is there some way out? And into this, Jesus says to us, peace be with you. He said it to his disciples in that locked room, and he says it to us. So he would gently fix our trauma. And he starts by telling us there's nothing to fear. That's what peace means, shalom. It's that wonderful sense of harmony that's been achieved by the cross. Now God is our friend, and everything good flows from that. He's looking after us right now. And the future, that's absolutely certain. And it's wonderful. We don't need to fear what's beyond that locked door. He's with us. And then after this, he showed them his hands and his side. So Jesus gave them and us reason to have faith, because he really rose from the dead. Those were his physical wounds. God really is there. He didn't leave them at Golgotha, and he hasn't left us during COVID. And he's defeated our greatest enemies, sin and death. And then he goes on, he says to them, receive the Holy Spirit. So we're not isolated anymore. Instead, the disciples and us were united. We're united by the Holy Spirit to Jesus and to each other, and we'll share that bond forever. So how can we leave the trauma of COVID-19 behind us? Well, it would have been madness, wouldn't it, for the disciples to keep cowering inside that locked room when they'd met the resurrected Jesus. In the same way, we need to know the view outside that locked door is completely transformed when we're joined to Jesus. We can step outside and we can leave our traumas behind us. Because Jesus says to us, you don't need to carry all that fear, all that uncertainty, all that isolation on your shoulders anymore, because I've been raised from the dead. I've won peace for you. You can really trust me, and you'll never be alone again because I'm with you by my Holy Spirit.